we've been calling these segments BCFC, Where Are They Now? I prefer to call them Stars of the Past starting today because I'm joined by Jamie Boreham. And Jamie, we were talking about the places that you've played, and I think I have a roadmap of it, and there's a whole lot of mileage there. It starts in Abbotsford with the Abbotsford Airforce. You played with 3 CIS teams, and how many CFL teams? Because you were drafted by one, traded by another, and then you played with a few others. A great way to see the country.
Oh, it's been fantastic. The opportunities that were given to me by junior and university and the pros. And to see Canada, and yeah, some mileage for sure. A couple different cars ran through.
Let's start back in junior with the Abbotsford Airforce. And you come from a football family as well. It goes back a couple of generations. Was it easy for you to fall in with the junior team?
It was interesting. Just grew up. Junior was never the plan. It was play for Vancouver College, do well in high school, and get a scholarship, go to university, and play pro from there. And just university wasn't the right fit my first go around, and found a new home in junior, which was football was fun and exciting, and I was given every opportunity to do anything I wanted to do. So.
You went after 3 years at Abbotsford, played at UBC for a year, missed the Vanier Cup ring by a year. But why did you pull the chute in your first time around in university? Because you went on and played with another 2 university teams.
Yeah, it just wasn't the right fit. Football went from playing at Vancouver College, and that was the best thing in the world in high school. And then to go from there to playing a university that you don't really have ties to, it was a difficult transition. So we just ended up being a better place to go play junior and learn how to do school a little bit better.
You also played at the University of Saskatchewan and the University of Manitoba. Tell me about your days in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, it was a great time. Going to the prairies is one of the best experiences. And from Vancouver, you're thinking, I don't want to go to the prairies. But all my time on the prairies was good time. And what did we do? We won the Can West final against UBC and went to Laval in '99 and lost to Laval in the semifinal.
When you think about your time on the prairies, either with Saskatchewan or the University of Manitoba, what lessons do you learn about the football culture there that you can bring back here to BC? Because the football culture in BC and the football culture in those 3 prairie provinces, they're kind of worlds apart at times, aren't they?
Yeah, you get probably the closest thing to American college football, that experience where the whole town, the whole city, and anyone within 3 hours will drive and they'll come watch the game. And just you walk around town and people know you and people care. And it's a feeling that I've only experienced in Saskatchewan, and I don't think you'll find it anywhere else.
Within the team and within the room, though, I would think that the camaraderie, the brotherhood, in a place like Saskatchewan, or especially a place like Manitoba, that room run by Brian Dobie, is about as close as you can get to the junior experience as possible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not on the lighter side, but they really preach a family, and people buy in to something that's a little bit bigger than they are. And those are 2 of the big things through playing junior and going on to play with the Bisons that I found. And it was great experiences all around.
Now tell us about your time in the Canadian Football League. A few speed bumps along the way before you actually got to play a game, right?
Yeah, so I got drafted by the Lions 2nd round in 2000 and something, 2000 I think. And so I went to camp there, and that was the year after Louis retired. And during camp, you knew the writing was on the wall, and so I knew I was getting released. And Coach Dobie was talking to me throughout that time, and we weren't sure if I was going to go back and play another year junior or if I was going to go to Manitoba. And so I called him during camp. I said, when they release me, I'll come play for the Bisons. And he was just shocked. But went to Bison's, and then later on just kind of worked out that the Lions traded my rights to the Bombers. And so during my time with the Bison's, I would go to bomber camp. And at the end of my CIS career, the Bombers traded me to Hamilton. And that's where it kicked off.
And from Hamilton, you managed to get some good years in there, but you also went around the league, went around the circuit a bit, went to Saskatchewan, went to Toronto, back to Saskatchewan again?
Yeah, and so...
What's up with you in Saskatchewan?
I don't know, maybe it was meant to be there, I don't know. I was thankful for every experience, every place. Either I learned something new or I had a great experience, and lots of the places I went through just helped me really enjoy being in Saskatchewan. And it was just, that community is second to none.
Now, from what I understand, back in your junior days, in your university days, you were quite a lightning rod out there. You drew a lot of attention because you're quite a competitor, from what I understand. Did that come up in rivalries? For instance, I understand that you loved playing against the Okanagan Sun.
That was the best. Playing in junior, and that's probably what really started to fuel the fire of football being fun again after university. And you found that rivalry, and you found that competitiveness and that competition from someone else, and you found it was a bigger game than just you playing in a game. And I had great times playing the Sun. Usually came up on the wrong side of it, but we managed to put the only blemish on their last national championship run.
Yeah, you're talking about the experience playing in a place like Saskatoon. Kelowna for junior football is pretty close to that in terms of the support that they can get, the feeling that you can get in that stadium when they put a good crowd in there. Is that about as close as you can get to the Prairie experience?
It's exactly what I tell the kids there. I'm like, this is one of the most recruitable, if not the most recruitable place in Canada. It's in BC, but it's kind of like the Prairies. And oddly enough, there's a ton of Saskatchewan people there too. But just to be able to be in the community, like they're in the paper every day. And it's neat to get in the paper for a kid. And they see that and they get to follow it, and their parents can follow it. And like they get a bunch of people out to games. 1,500 is probably a small game for them. And they've been successful.
You're coaching high school now. You're a teacher now. You're obviously advertising on your shirt there. And nothing like stepping up the recruiting program right there for the private school. Tell me what it was like making the transition out of football, because it was a pretty smooth transition, because the transition was kind of back into football again, wasn't it?
Yeah, it worked out pretty perfect. I'm probably one of the luckiest people in the world. When I was a young guy, I said I was gonna play professional football, and somewhere in early high school I decided I'm gonna teach. And along the way, my dad pulled me aside and taught me how to coach. And so every off season, I'd come home, and home's Vancouver, and got hooked up with Notre Dame, which was odd at the time because I went to Vancouver College. And they made me their basic full-time sub, and I took over the basketball program, helping out with football, and yeah, it was just great. And come the end of my career, when I tore my ACL for the third time, retired, and Notre Dame had a job for me.
Tell me what it's like, because there is a bit of a disconnect at times between the high school football culture and junior football culture in the province. For someone who benefited so much from playing junior football and had such a great time playing junior football, what sort of message do you give to players who are playing high school football for your team at Notre Dame that may be looking in other directions but might need that development or that opportunity, or just approach the game in a way where they approach it as it being fun, even though it's highly competitive?
Yeah, I think more than just high school players and coaches, I think parents need to wrap their head around the idea. Not everyone's ready to go play university football. And that doesn't mean that they're not ready on the field, but they might not be ready in the classroom. And having the opportunity to go to like a Douglas College or Cap College and learn how to do university at a college, it's not half the price, but it's a lot cheaper to go to. And some of the programs, the junior programs in the province provide scholarship opportunities if you're going to school. So you can still have your school paid for. And when you get 2 years for free as an 18-year-old, those 2 years don't count against your eligibility. And it's an opportunity to get bigger, to get stronger, to learn how to do school. So when you do go to school, you're taking advantage of every opportunity given to you.
Well, and there's also the added benefit of learning a trade before you go to university as well. And in some cases, with a lot of junior players, they'll learn that trade and actually work instead of going to university. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
No, that's a great opportunity. Because university's not for everyone either, right? So someone might be more interested in being in the fire department, and that can provide opportunities for some scholarship to do some school that way. And anyone, electricians and plumbers and construction guys, there's opportunities to go to school. And for those people who aren't necessarily that university type, junior's great. They have an opportunity to advance their football, and if they play long enough in junior, there's an opportunity to get recognized. And the Lions and Saskatchewan, and lots of the teams are taking advantage of the junior players.
We're just past the halfway point in the BCFC season. I know you're going to get into your high school season soon, and that's what kind of surrounds you. But how do you follow the BCFC?
Well, I've had some involvement with the Okanagan Sun over the past years. Before I moved down here, I was helping out their kicker a little bit, and that's a neat story. That kid, Keely Heinz, is profoundly deaf and wears cochlear implants when he plays, and for his whole life. And so it's great to see a kid like that succeeding. So I've had great opportunities in working with Coach Ben McCauley up there now. But I keep an eye on it, and from time to time, if there's an opportunity to go to a game, go to a game.
Are you surprised with the level of success Ben has had at Okanagan so far?
He's got a good core of kids. There's some leftover kids there that are great people, and those kids built a family of what they were, and they're strong together. So that was bound to carry over, just because the kids, and whoever was going to be that guy, those kids were going to be those kids. And they got great kids, and they're only going to get better. As I've seen them play, I think I've almost seen every game they played so far this year, and they're only getting better. They haven't played a perfect game. They haven't played even a great game. They've been mediocre, and that's a good thing, because they're 5-0 now, and they're going to be better along the way, which is a nice thing.
Before I let you go, what's your synopsis on the Notre Dame Jugglers?
Notre Dame Jugglers, they got a great bunch of kids too. They won the grade 8 championship. They were in the junior final in their grade 10 year. I missed a bunch of them last year, so I was too far away to know a whole lot. But being around the past week and a half, they got some players. They got some athletes, and if they put it together, they'll have a chance. Stay healthy. So I'm hoping for good things from them.
Jamie, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you coming all the way into town. I understand your travel usually stops at around, Hastings Boundary Road up in that
right
area.
By the PNE.
Yeah, right by the PNE, and then you don't make it past the PNE.
No,
but
a 5-minute commute.
I appreciate you coming downtown and doing this hit with us. Thanks very much.
No problem. Thanks.